Hello, hello, hello. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. My name is Amber. I am a content manager, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the 12-week year, how I am coming along with that because I started it, the process of actually doing the 12-week year. Um, I believe at the beginning of May. No, no. Sorry, the beginning of April, or maybe a week into April. Um, And, I've learned a lot and I've had a lot of revelations. And so today I want to talk about some of the positive and negative things that have come out of that experience. Um, and really trying to help you, maybe if you are like me. I realized before I started this process that I had some mental blockages around um how do I say it? Being seen, being vulnerable in public. I had gotten used to it at a certain level, but you know, I had a hard time at doing sales calls and salesy things. And had some but I didn't really understand the extent to which this would push me, both positively and negatively. The extent to which this would push me out way outside of my comfort zone. And I, I think what happened is I went into this going, I'm going to be doing this one thing. Um, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. I have a migraine going on right now. It's light. I just woke up from a nap, so it's lighter than it was, but it's still there. And so if I trip over my words a little bit or forget what I'm saying for a second, that's why. Um, and um, yeah. So I realized it was gonna push me. I realized it was going to really challenge me in a lot of ways. And I think that there were good things and there were bad things about that. So, one of the key things that I had not factored into my process when I was creating my 12-week year is that I would have a massive amount of resistance that I would have to work through. And not just massive amount of resistance that I would have to work through. It was resistance where at first I would be able to do the things that I had set up for myself to be productive, and then I would hit the wall. And I'd have to figure out how to climb up over that wall of awful. Um, I also tend to yawn when I have a migraine, so I apologize. But I really wanted to talk about this today, and I've been thinking about it for 3 or 4 days, so I really wanted to get it out. What I didn't anticipate within my 12-week year is that I was going to have to do a lot of mental work, and that I had not accounted for that within my plan. So, what wasn't on the list was the mental health days that I would find myself in. What wasn't on the list was this um, anxiety about who I am. What wasn't on the list was having a realization 3 or 4 weeks in that the thing that I was working on wasn't what I really wanted to be doing. What I didn't account for in my plan is that I was going to butt right up against some really intense emotions, and that doing this right before my child graduates, or not graduates, but right as my child finishes up elementary school, and he's my only child. that I was going to be having some really big, intense emotions about this thing. What I didn't realize is that as I was running up against these things, my complex PTSD would be at an all-time high, due to pushing myself outside of my comfort zone and spending the majority of my childhood trying desperately not to be noticed. And now we are trying desperately to get noticed. And those two things, there's a lot that has happened because of that. And really butting up against that, if we get noticed, that's dangerous, right? If we are fade into the background and nobody knows that we're here, that's safe. That's safe. But pushing out and pushing ourselves to be visible, pushing our like this feels safe to me. It's okay. Um, I don't know why, but it does. But social media where people can instantly react, social media where it's people that I know and that have known me my whole life, that feels really intense and kind of terrifying, right? And if you've not gone through the stuff that I've gone through in my life, um, and anything really genuinely traumatic, it it can be like I don't understand what the problem is. And that's kind of what I've been running up against. It's like I don't understand why this is so hard. And then last night or over the last week, I've been kind of running through my lifespan. It's like what has happened, and all of this stuff has come up. I'm like, Jesus, that's a lot. You know, it's an unbelievable amount. It's wild. So what I would say is that there's another element to, I'm going to get to some good things that have come up, right? But one other element I'm recognizing is that there's a whole lot of hustle culture baked into this idea and this plan. And I um am not sure that I'm not even not sure. I know I'm not a huge fan of that. Hmm. It's a brand new coffee I've never had before. It's kind of delicious. It is La Barba, and it's their house blend. It's interesting. So it got some almond notes, milk chocolate, and coffee. So it's really intriguing. I would highly recommend their standard, which is their espresso blend, and it's so good. I'm gonna get that next time, I think. But anyway, there's a lot of hustle culture, and that's not really my vibe. Um, However, I really had planned on doing a lot of hustle culture stuff because I thought and still do think that to some degrees and during certain seasons, culture that hustle is needed in order to survive, in order to get the ball rolling in a way that you need it to be rolling. The downside to that is that I have been slacking on some of my responsibilities um, at home and in general. And that I don't think has really helped me because I've been so hardcore focused on get this stuff figured out, get it out, rah, run, talk to all these people, do all this thing, push it out. And then it was like, wait. Wait a minute. Like, once I hit the point of like, whoop, I had a meeting a couple going on a week and a half to 2 weeks ago now. And 2 weeks ago. And the girl was sitting there talking about the job. It was a client, a potential client, and she was talking about the tasks that she needed completed, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, I don't want to do any of this, Right, and not just because it was work, but because of the type of work that it was, um, and the fact that I knew that it was a lot of busy work. Does that make sense? And I don't, while it's necessary work and it's important work, it's not core work. Does that make sense? And I really want to be dealing with the core stuff that actually moves the needle forward. And I recognize that I wanted to help people grow their businesses, not maintain them. And I think that that is a key distinction that I hadn't made before. And then she said something to the effect of, my last person did all of my SOPs for me, which is recording standard operating procedures and training videos and all of that stuff and organized it. And I recognize that as an operations person, that's one of your core tasks. That's one of your primary things that you're doing. And I also recognized in that moment that I would have rather chewed my left arm off than do those tasks. And when I got off that call, I was like, oh God, all of this stuff that I've been working on, all of this stuff that I've been pushing out there, all of this stuff that I've been saying I wanted to be doing, I don't actually want to be doing that. Um, and so then I'm like, okay, well, what do I want to be doing? Like if my goal is to help people grow their businesses and restructure them a little bit, what does that look like? And is content management. I mean, realistically, it's stuff that involves systems, it involves processes, it involves tools, but it is not only that, right? It is that with a purpose rather than just that all day, every day. That's all I'm doing. Um, and so I literally had to like scratch my entire 12-week year plan, the entire plan. And I'm like, okay, so now I have to redo this 12-week year plan. And I'm like, okay, well, do I just pick up where I was or do I restart because the goals have changed, the ideas have even changed to some degree, excuse me. And I think I ended up doing that. And then last week was the week before the end of school, and this week is the last week of school. And I just am migraine today. So I think what needs to happen, and here's how I'm going to be doing this going forward. I'm going to be creating a plan, a proper plan with the idea in mind, because quite literally, prior to the failure of the plan, I was reaching out to my goal was reach out to 2 people per day. And I was doing a really good job at that, to be perfectly honest with you. And then I was like, okay, well, I've got 2. The goal is 5. I can reach out to 5. And the second I switched it to 5, I stopped doing it entirely, which coincidentally also coincides with all this other stuff happening. So it could just be that all of this other stuff happened and I had to like stop for a second and realign and refocus and figure out what that looks like, because I genuinely can't reach out to people and say, hey, do you need help? And then they go, well, what do you help with? And I go, I don't know. I can't do that. Or they say, yeah, I need help. Can you help me with my content? And I go, yeah, I definitely can do that. Well, what are your packages? I don't know. Like you obviously can't do that. So I've got some packages figured out. I've just got to put them into a really pretty document format and then upload those to my website or something like that. Currently I still have VA stuff on there and OBM stuff on there. And realistically, a content manager is very much in the OBM sphere, but it's really a very niche, specific version of an OBM. And I think that's kind of what I was stressing about is like, I don't know, just like, I'll help you with everything. It's like, that's not gonna work. A, I don't want to be all over the place. And B, I want to help with really specific things that are going to actually help grow and expand businesses and help them make their dreams come true. And then, so Tuesday, last week, Wednesday of last week or Thursday, maybe it's Thursday, I don't know. Last week, sometime, like it's all blending together at this point. I went downtown. I live near Salt Lake City. So I went all the way downtown to meet a client, and we went to this really adorable. We actually went to La Barba coffee shop in um I don't know that it's quite Sugar House, but it's really close to downtown. And it's in this cute little area that I've never been. Like I've driven through, but I've never actually stopped. And they had the cutest little shops in there. And on my way home, I saw over 100 different boutique style businesses, just small, hyper niched businesses. And I'm like, you know what? Like each one of these businesses, like just had the realization that every single one of these businesses was someone's dream. Like somebody dreamed this up, put money and energy and sweat and tears and blood into, and said, this, I'm going to make this work. And I realized that each one of those people deserves to have their dream come true. They deserve to have their dream be successful. And this is what kind of solidified the content management thing for me, because I was still kind of even waffling at that point of like, how do I do this? Do I really want to do this? That's what it is. Like, because in this time period, and the more I've listened to things about social media and how social media is changing and how it's becoming more like search engines, um, younger generations are using social media, and I'm guilty of it too. I look up businesses on Google, and I look them up on after I've looked them up on Google and look at their website, I go to their social media channels to see what kind of stuff they're posting about and if they're working. When I was trying to find an old boss, I started on Facebook. When I was trying to find an address for a client, I started on Facebook. So all of these things are pulling me together, pulling me into this space of like, yes, this is exactly what I need to be doing. This is what I want to be doing. And this is how I want to be going about life. And I honestly believe that there's a whole crap ton of noise in the world. And while my hesitation before now was that I don't want to add to the noise, and I felt like I would be, but I really genuinely believe that there is a place for that. And there's a place for content. Good, well, good content. There's a place for good content, right? And so it's just a matter of being able to figure out whom who needs this help, what specifically I'm going to do for that person, and then executing that and putting it into some sort of package with a dollar amount attached to it, right? So that I get my needs met and they get their needs met. Um, and we grow and we help them make their dream come true. Like that's it. That's at its core, that's what it is. And um, I like that a lot. I like it a lot. So my 12-week year going forward, I think is going to be a little bit slower, a little bit more intentional. Um, I think I got really wrapped up in the Alex Hermosi way of thinking of like, go, 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 go. And I do think that there's an element of that that's required, right? Like you're gonna have to reach out to people. You're gonna have to like 100 calls a day. It's just not something my body at this age And with all of my personal responsibilities can happen. Like 5 a day was too much because after 2 or 3 of those conversations, I'm wiped the hell out, you know? Um, and I need work that I still have other work to do, right? I still have clients to manage. So I have responsibilities outside of growing just this arm of my business. I need to make sure that I am fulfilling the things that people are already paying me for, and making sure that I'm actually doing that work. And so finding the balance between my actual life and what I'm trying to build within the 12-week year is the key. And I'm going to start documenting this process a little bit more heavily. So if you're really curious about it and you want to know about it, by all means, hit subscribe and I'll walk you through what's going on with me. Um, and I think this also changes the way that I document it in my computer, like as far as my to-do lists go. So I'm gonna figure that out. I am still doing a really aggressive um, marketing schedule, which I'll go through with you guys at a later time. If you want to get like a snippet of what that might look like, I just released a video talking about marketing strategy and how to create one for yourself. And I give you like, I actually walk through an example of how I put one together for a mock teacher who is now a content creator and wanting to release a course. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'll leave a card somewhere right about now, or it'll be attached below if for some reason the card doesn't pop up. I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to y'all later. See ya. Bye.